Good day to you all. So in this slide, you see many species belonging to our genus called Homo. As you see, Homo neanderthals, Homo habilis, Homo florensis, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo erectus, Homo rudolfinensis, and the current only living species, Homo sapiens. So these extinct species belong to the same genus as that of Ars Homo. They lived on this earth many years back, many thousands of years back, even millions of years back. By this presentation, I'm briefly trying to talk about the species of Homo. So biologists classify organisms into species. Animals are said to belong to the same species if they tend to mate with another, giving birth to fertile offspring. For example, all dogs are one species, even though they come in different shapes and sizes. All domestic dogs, from Newfoundlands to pugs, huskies, Labradogs, all belong to the same species, Canis familiaris. So species that evolved from a common ancestor are grouped together under a big heading called genus. Lions, tigers, leopards, jaguars are different species, but they belong to the same genus, which in their case is Panthera. Biologists label organisms with the two-part Latin name, genus followed by species. Lions, for example, are called Panthera leos, and tigers are called Panthera tigris. Panthera is a genus, and species leos, the species leo and tigris. So genera are turned into grouped families, such as the cats. And there are lions, cheetahs, house cats, and example, the dogs are wolves, fox, jackals. They all belong to two different families. So Homo sapiens also belong to a family, a rather large and particularly loud family called the great apes. So our closest living relative is chimpanzees. Just 6 million years ago, a single female ape had two daughters. One became the ancestor of all chimpanzees, and the other one is our great grandmother. So so before I talk about the different species, the human taxonomy will classify organisms into groups. Like kingdoms. Kingdom. There are 5 kingdoms. We belong to the kingdom animals, organisms that are able to move on their own. For phylum, we belong to chordats, mammals with a backbone, so a spine. You could say our class is mammals. Chordats with fur, hair, and milk glands. Our order is primates. Mammals with their collarbone and grasping fingers. Our family is hominins, primates with a relatively flat face and 3-dimensional vision. Our genus is Homo, hominins with an upright posture and large brains. Our species is Homo sapiens, as you know, members of the genus Homo with a high forehead and thin skull bones. So human taxonomy is a classification of a human species, which is zoological taxonomy. So we see around 2.2 million years ago, we started seeing the emergence of the genus Homo in Africa. So the genus Homo, as you know, we belong to the genus Homo. The genus Homo emerged from the extinct genus Australopithecus. Australopithecus is a genus of hominins that existed in Africa around 4.2 to 1.9 million years ago. As you see, those are the two pictures of Australopithecus. One is the skull of Australopithecus, and the other one is an animated picture of Australopithecus. Yeah, it looks really real, but it's animated picture. This is what some people believe what Australopithecus was what they were like. Evolution. So evolution is a change in characteristics of a species over several generations and relies on the process of natural selection. So the theory of evolution is based on that idea that all species are related and gradually change over time. The scientific theory of evolution by natural selection was convinced independently by Charles Darwin and Alfred Russel Wallace in the mid-19th centuries, and was set on in the detail in Darwin's book on the origin of species. Yeah, and that's a picture of Charles Darwin. So we all have a common ancestor. All life on Earth shares the last universal common ancestor, which for short is Luca, that lived approximately 3.5 to 3.8 billion years ago. That's very, very old. But yeah. So see, Luca was a bacteria, and it is our last universal common ancestor. It was a small bacteria. Such a small bacteria evolved into a very complicated species that is Homo sapiens. Yeah. So our evolution. So the human evolution is the process by human beings are being developed on Earth from now extinct primates. There are very strong evidences that suggest that humans first evolved in Africa about 315,000 years ago. So every single human being originated from Africa. So we are the only living members of what many zoologists refer to as the human tribe Hominini, but there are abundant fossil evidences to indicate that we were preceded for millions of years by other hominins, such as Ardipithecus, Australopithecus, and other species of Homo, and that our species also lived for a time contemporaneously with at least another member of our genus, like Homo neanderthalensis. We and the other extinct hominins are somehow related, and we and the ape both living and extinct are somehow related, and it's accepted by anthropologists and biologists everywhere. So, human lineage. This is an artist's depiction of 5 species of the human lineage. As the Australopithecus afarensis is leading the way, with Homo habilis second, third Homo erectus, fourth is Homo neanderthals, and fifth is Homo sapiens. So our evolution. So 4 million years ago, from Australopithecus afarensis came a new species called Australopithecus africanus, and around 2 million years ago, a new genus emerged, the genus Homo, and from there Homo habilis, Homo ergaster, Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo neanderthals emerged, and now there's the modern man, which is known as Homo sapiens. So we all had a common ancestors, and one evolved into gorillini and the African great apes, like chimpanzees, bonobos, and gorillas. The other one became the ancestor of homininids, like Australopithecus africanus, Australopithecus afarensis, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, Homo heidelbergensis, Homo sapiens, and Homo neanderthalensis. Yeah. So species of Homo, there were many species that were close to present modern humans that have existed on Earth. So modern humans, or Homo sapiens, only evolved between 400,000 years and 250,000 years ago. So this isn't a guesswork also. This is a radiocarbon dated fact. So this is the exact numbers. So yeah, this is the exact numbers when Homo sapiens evolved from. Humans evolved from the family hominins, which is known as the great apes, that have existed on Earth for over 20 million years. Over time, different human species with different characteristics have existed on Earth, but not all species of the humans have survived, and with many of them becoming extinct. Actually, we are the only human species left. The idea of human beings linked to other apes came from the publication of Charles Darwin's On the Origin of Species in 1859. So I'm going to come on our first species, Homo heidelbergensis. So this species lived on Earth between 700,000 years to 200,000 years. They emerged from Africa, where Homo sapiens emerged from. So the average male was around 5 feet 9 inches, so around the same height as modern humans, and weight around 62 kgs or 136 pounds, whereas the female average was around 5.2 inches, so 157 centimeters, which is around my height, and with a weight of 112 pounds, which is 51 kgs. So they had a larger brain case with a flatter face than today's humans. They were the first humans to human species to adapt to the colder weather and build their own shelters to live. So they were also known for their ability to hunt larger animals, which has not been seen in any other human species before them. So Homo heidelbergensis was fossil. The first Homo heidelbergensis fossil was discovered on October 21st, 1907, by a work in Germany. So Heidelberg is a place in Germany. So they named it after the place where the first fossils were found. So therefore the name Homo heidelbergensis emerged. And that's a picture of Homo heidelbergensis. Has a pretty flat face. Yeah. Next up is Homo rudolfensis. They are another extinct species that falls into the hominid category. They are believed to live around 1.9 million to 1.8 million years ago. So their physical build, height, weight are still unknown due to the scarcity of fossils. So there weren't a lot of fossils found to officially say the weight or height, but these species exhibited a marked brain growth compared to Australopithecus predecessors, which is typically explained by a change in diet with a calorie-rich source food, namely meat. So Homo rudolfensis isn't associated with any tools, and that picture is a sculpture of what Homo rudolfensis may have looked like. Now there's Homo habilis. They were believed to have lived. They fall as another species of hominins that lived on Earth between 2.4 to 1.4 million years ago. So they possess some ape-like features such as long arms and a moderately prognatic face. So the jaw bulged out like this. I can't do it, but the jaw bulged out front of the nose. So they had a larger brain case in the range of 550 centimeters to 687 centimeters. So this is a larger brain case compared to Australopithecus predecessors. However, they had a smaller face and smaller teeth, but there has been some debate whether Homo habilis should even count as Homo, since they only had very few characteristics. but scientists discovered that they had the ability to use stone tools for various purposes, and that is very important because humans or human-like species must be able to use stone tools. It's not like necessary, but they can be counted as a Homo. And see, that's the face of a animation version of Homo habilis, and the skull is a reconstruction skull of Homo habilis. And there's there's Homo florensis. They were a small species of archaic human which inhabited the island of Florensis, Indonesia, until the arrival of modern humans around 50,000 years ago. So the remains of individual who would have stood about 1.1 meter, which is 3 feet 7 inches, which is my brother is actually taller than normal Homo florensis per a man or woman. But they were discovered on the island of Florensis in Indonesia. As you see, that's the fossil compared to a human skull. I see it's much larger, and the other one is a animated version of Homo florensis. Now we have Homo erectus, meaning upright man, is an extinct species of archaic humans. They had a human-like gait and bony proportion, and was the first human species to have exhibited a flat face and a prominent nose, and possibly sparse body hair coverage. Homo erectus, men and women, may have been roughly the same size as each other. So they are also credited as the most long species in the genus Homo. They have almost survived for 2 million years. So they were also credited to be the first human ancestors to have used fire. I see those are 2 reconstructions of Homo erectus, men and women. And yeah, Neanderthals. Neanderthals, Homo neanderthals or Homo sapiens neanderthals are an extinct species of archaic humans who have lived in Eurasia until 40,000 years ago, and they probably went extinct due to the competition with or extermination by immigrating European early modern humans, or due to a great climatic change, diseases, or a combination of these factors. So there's a theory that our great grandfathers may have killed off these poor species, or for food, or because of great climatic change, diseases, or maybe it's all of them. So as you that's the skull of a classic European Neanderthal, and the other 2 pictures are a reconstruction of a man and woman of a Neanderthal. Now we are hopping on to modern humans, Homo sapiens. Humans or Homo sapiens are highly intelligent primates that have become dominant species on Earth. Humans are terrestrial animals characterized by their erect posture and by the locomotion. So all Homo sapiens are thought to be diverged from Africa from an earlier hominid around 300,000 years ago, with the earliest fossil evidence of Homo sapiens also appearing around 300,000 years ago in Africa. Humans began to exhibit the evidence of behavioral modernity at least about 100,000 years to 70,000 years. In several waves of immigration, the Homo sapiens ventured out of Africa and populated most of the world. So they said adios and just explored the Earth. So the global human population was estimated to be near 7.8 billion in 2019. And incidentally, that's a picture of me when I was younger and my very annoying little cute brother. And yeah, thank you for watching my talk, and hope you have learned something. And yeah, goodbye.